The morning I found my bakery empty, I stood in shock. Everything was gone. Big mixers, special ovens, even the wooden rolling pins my grandmother had given me. But the worst part, my recipe book was missing. It wasn't just a book. It held my family's secret recipes, passed down for 3 generations. My name is Sophie Chin. I'm 32 years old, and I was watching my husband destroy everything I had worked for. Looking for something? James's voice echoed in the empty kitchen. He stood in the doorway, holding my grandmother's recipe book. "Why?" I whispered. "Why would you do this?" He smiled, the same charming smile that had fooled me 5 years ago. "Business, darling. Your bakery was doing so well. I thought, why not expand? But there can only be one top bakery in this neighborhood. I should have seen the signs. The late night calls, the secret meetings, how he suddenly cared about my bakery after ignoring it for years. But I trusted him. I never thought he would do something like this." "Those recipes are my family's legacy," I said as he flipped through the pages carelessly. James laughed. "Legacy doesn't pay the bills. But these recipes? They'll make me rich. James Artisan Bakery opens next week, right across the street." I glanced out the window. The new sign was already up, his name shining in gold letters. "You're using my family's recipes to compete with me." "Compete?" He smirked. "There won't be any competition. I took everything, your equipment, your suppliers, even your head baker, Mike. Face it, Sophie, you're finished." What James didn't know. I had expected something like this. Not exactly this. I trusted him too much to think he'd go this far. But my grandmother had taught me well. The book he stole, it wasn't the real one. "If that's how you want to play this," I said calmly, "then good luck with your bakery." He frowned, surprised by my reaction. "That's it? No tears? No begging? Would it change anything?" "No," he admitted, tucking the book under his arm. "This is business, Sophie. You're just not cut out for it." Before leaving, he added, "Oh, and I filed for divorce. The papers should arrive today. You can keep this place, though. Not that you'll have much use for an empty bakery." I waited until he was gone. Then I picked up my phone and called my grandmother in Taiwan. "Ah, ma," I said in Mandarin. "It happened, just like you warned me." She was silent for a moment. Then she chuckled, her laugh like wind chimes. "He took the fake book." "Yes, and everything else. The equipment, the staff, even our suppliers." "Good. Let him have the simple recipes. The real ones are safe with us." I smiled, remembering how she taught me to protect family secrets. The book James stole had basic recipes, good but not the best. The real ones, those were never written down. "Are you ready?" Amma asked. "Once you start this, there's no turning back." I looked around my empty bakery. I thought about James's smug face, how sure he was that he had destroyed me. "I'm ready." "Good. Check your email. I sent you the first real recipes, the ones your grandfather used to build our first bakery in Taiwan. The ones that made people line up every morning." My phone pinged with an email. "What of the rest?" I asked. "One step at a time," she said. "Prove you can master these first." I opened my laptop. The recipes were in traditional Chinese characters, full of notes and special techniques. The first one was for our family's famous egg custard tarts. Not the easy version in James's stolen book, the real one. The one that made my great-grandfather's bakery famous. I ran my fingers over the screen, tracing the words. James thought he had taken everything. But he didn't understand what truly made a bakery great. It wasn't the equipment. It wasn't the staff. It wasn't even the recipes on paper. It was the knowledge passed down through generations. The skills that couldn't be stolen. The secrets that lived in my hands and heart. Just then, my phone buzzed with a message from Mike, my old head baker. "Mike? Sophie, I'm sorry. James offered double my salary. I have kids to think about." I understood. James had money, family money he never earned but used like a weapon. He could steal everything. But he could never steal what truly mattered. What James couldn't steal was the heart of our baking, the thing that made it special. That afternoon, the divorce papers arrived. James had thought of everything. He wanted a clean break, offering me money that seemed fair on paper but was only a small part of what the bakery was really worth. I signed without a fight. Let him think he had won. That evening, I went to a local restaurant supply store. The owner, Mr. Wong, had known my grandmother when she first came to America. "I heard what happened," he said. That husband of yours, taking everything. I nodded and handed him a list. I need to start over, just the basics for now. He looked at my list, then at me. Your grandmother called. She told me to give you whatever you need. No rush on payment. Mr. Wong, I can't. He raised a hand to stop me. Your grandmother once helped my parents when they first came to America. She said it was to repay kindness shown to her family in Taiwan. Now it's my turn to help you. Take what you need. Pay me when you can. By midnight, my kitchen had a new mixer, a second-hand oven, and basic supplies. It wasn't the expensive equipment James had taken, but it was enough. I worked all night, carefully following my grandmother's instructions for the egg custard tarts. The first batch wasn't perfect. These recipes required skill and precision. But by sunrise, they were close to the ones I remember from my childhood. James's bakery would open in a week. He had my equipment, my staff, and a book of simple recipes he thought would bring him success. But he didn't have what truly mattered: the generations of knowledge, the skills that turned simple ingredients into something extraordinary, and most of all, the determination of someone who refused to give up. Let him think he had won, because I was just getting started. I had something better than stolen recipes. I had my grandmother's wisdom, my family's real secrets, and a plan that no fancy equipment could beat. The morning James's bakery opened, I watched from my empty storefront as crowds lined up outside his shop. He had advertised aggressively, calling himself the new premium bakery in town. People were eager to try what he promised were traditional recipes with a modern twist. I spent that day in my kitchen, perfecting my grandmother's egg custard tarts. By evening, they had become something extraordinary. Pastry so delicate it crumbled at the touch. Custard so smooth it melted on the tongue. Not just good, but unforgettable. These are perfect, Mr. Wong said, tasting one as he dropped off more supplies. Almost, I corrected. I'm still learning. For weeks, I worked in silence while James's bakery stayed busy. My grandmother sent me new recipes, each one with careful instructions and long phone calls filled with wisdom. Then I saw the first cracks in James's success. One morning, outside his bakery, I spotted Mike, my former head baker, arguing with him. These aren't working, Mike said, holding my old recipes. The measurements are right, but something's missing. Customers are complaining. James waved his hands, clearly frustrated. He had my recipes, but the results weren't what he expected. That's when I made my move. I took a box of my perfectly baked parts to Mrs. Lee's tea shop, 2 blocks away. She had been a regular at my bakery before James took over. Sophie, she said, hugging me. We've missed you. That new place, it's just not the same. Would you like to sell these? I asked, opening the box. Exclusively in your shop? She took a bite and her eyes widened. These are even better than before. How much? Let's start small, 1 dozen every morning. Word spread fast. Soon, people lined up at Mrs. Lee's before she even opened, hoping to get one of my tarts before they sold out. I added another tea shop, then a third, each with its own exclusive treat from my grandmother's real recipes. 6 months later, James's bakery was struggling. The excitement had faded. People realized his pastries, while decent, weren't special. His stolen recipes weren't enough. That's when my grandmother sent the next set of recipes, the ones for our family's famous mooncakes. Perfect timing, she said on our nightly call. Mid-Autumn Festival is coming. These were your great-grandfather's pride. I spent weeks practicing, learning every small detail that made our mooncakes different. The balance of flavors, the precise ingredients, the golden crust. When the festival arrived, my mooncakes were everywhere, sold at the best tea shops and restaurants in the city. People couldn't stop talking about them. James noticed. He had to. His bakery was losing customers, and his stolen recipes weren't bringing them back. One evening, he showed up at my door, still in his chef's coat. How are you doing this? He demanded. I have your recipes. I have better equipment. I have everything that made your bakery successful. I wiped flour from my hands and looked at him. Do you? I asked. Or do you just have a piece of paper with measurements? Because baking isn't just about following instructions. It's about knowledge passed down through generations. And that's something you can't steal. His face turned red. You changed the recipes before I took them. That's it, isn't it? I smiled. No, James, you just never got the real ones. The ones you took, they're fine. They'll make decent pastries, but they'll never be special. This isn't over, he said angrily. Actually, it is, I replied. Check your sales. Check your reviews. People can tell the difference between something real and something copied. Over the next year, I grew my business, slowly, carefully. Each recipe my grandmother sent became a signature item at a different shop. No big bakery, no flashy ads. Just quality, tradition, and the knowledge that real success can't be stolen. James tried everything to compete. He hired new bakers, bought even fancier equipment, and ran big promotions. But no matter what he did, he couldn't make his bakery special. He didn't have the generations of knowledge behind the recipes. 18 months after taking my bakery, James's business was failing. I heard he was trying to sell it, but no one wanted a struggling bakery with bad reviews. That's when my grandmother called. It's time, she said. You're ready for the last set of recipes, the most special ones. When she arrived, she carried a small, old notebook, the real family recipe book passed down for generations. Inside were the recipes that had made our family's bakery in Taiwan famous. Your great-grandfather started with nothing, she told me as we sat in my kitchen. Just knowledge and determination. Sometimes, losing everything helps you build something even stronger. For 2 weeks, she taught me the final techniques, sharing stories of our family's history. Each recipe came with a lesson, a piece of wisdom passed down through generations. The day she left, she hugged me tight. You've built something beautiful, Sophie, not just a business, but a legacy. A month later, I got an email from James's lawyer. James wanted to sell me his bakery, everything including the equipment for a low price. His business was failing, and he needed a way out. I thought about the day he had taken everything from me, so confident that my bakery's success would be his. Now he was trying to sell it all back. My answer was simple: no, thank you. I had built something better. My business had grown into a network of specialty shops across the city, each one selling pastries made from my family's real recipes. People traveled from other states to buy my mooncakes during the Mid-Autumn Festival. Food magazines wrote about my traditional pastries, calling them the best in the city. 6 months later, James's bakery closed for good. I watched as he took down his sign, remembering how he had once told me there was only room for one premium bakery in the neighborhood. He had been right. That day, I stood in my own kitchen, now fully stocked with tools I had bought myself, and baked a fresh batch of egg custard tarts. As their warm, familiar scent filled the air, I thought about everything I had overcome. James had taken my equipment, my staff, and a book of recipes he thought would make him successful. But he never understood what really mattered: the knowledge passed down through generations, the skills that couldn't be stolen, and the strength that comes from rebuilding. My phone buzzed with a message from my grandmother. Ready for the next chapter. I looked at the lines of customers outside my partner shops, waiting for something real, something made with care, something special. I smiled and typed back, ready. Because losing everything hadn't ended my dream. It had made me unstoppable.